Professor Blackmore.
I'm not a professor.
Dr. Blackmore.
Yes.
Is there any real evidence for paranormal phenomena?
Well, there might be, but if there is, I've never found it, and I spent 30 years looking. This is one of the problems about the paranormal, that you define the paranormal as something that doesn't conform to science, or that transmission of information without the use of the senses. So you've always got this problem of a negative definition. So as many as experiments that you can do and not find anything, it doesn't prove it isn't there. So I would say there is no convincing evidence that I have seen. I've done hundreds of experiments looking for it, never found any. I've read thousands of reports of other people's experiments that don't convince me, but that doesn't prove that the paranormal doesn't exist, and it doesn't prove there isn't some evidence somewhere. I think there isn't.
So isn't parapsychology a real science?
Oh yes, parapsychology is a real science. In this sense, it asks intelligible questions. Do ghosts exist? Is there telepathy? Is there ESP? And it uses good, sound scientific methods to try and answer the questions. Laboratory experiments, surveys, fieldwork investigations. It is in that sense a proper science, I think so. But it hasn't come up with any really valid scientific findings, and it doesn't have any real theoretical structure. So it's, if you like, a real science that's failing. It's a science that's asking a lot of questions, and the answer always seems to be no.
Why does people believe easily in paranormal claims and supernatural beings?
I think there are lots of reasons. One sort of reason is to do with the fact that we want to be in communication with other people. It's quite scary, really, to think that each of us is just, a body here with a brain. Everything that we know has to come through the senses. It would be so nice to think that if your lover or your children is far away, you could communicate with them, or if your child was dying somewhere, that you would know. We want to feel that we know these things. I think that's one reason. Another reason is we don't want to die. I think this is part of the human capacity to build up an idea of self and to think that there's somebody in here. We protect that endlessly, and we want ourself to carry on. So we want there to be life after death. And although logically paranormal phenomena and life after death are not the same thing, I think the desire it's all part of the same desire. And another reason, I think, is fear of uncertainty. So that we live in very stressful times with very many uncertainties in our life, fear of war and disease and lack of control in our lives. So when some psychic comes along and says, I can see in my crystal ball, or I have a vision, it's very tempting to think that they've got a truth and that we can buy that truth by paying the money. And so particularly if you are under stress and powerless in your life, it's very easy to want somebody to be able to give you those paranormal answers. I think those are some of the reasons why we so easily believe in those phenomena.
Do you believe in God, and why?
God?
Yeah.
No. I find coming here to America, I am very shocked. I come from England, a country where religion is so unimportant. I know a few people who believe in God. It's not considered very polite to talk about it in England, so I'm not really sure. I think most of my friends don't believe in God. My children certainly don't believe in God. My son, who is 17, told me that there are 2 religious people in his year at school, and they think they're very strange. So, I come from a country like that, where it's normal to just think religion is sort of old-fashioned, and I come here to America, and there's religion all over the place, and it's scary, and people ask me questions like, do you believe in God? What, believe in God? It's a very peculiar question. No, of course I don't believe in God. No.
Thank you very much.